evening, girls. You join us under a duvet with a £30 Amazon mic.
And a nice laptop, though. The laptop's good.
Oh, yeah. Sam's got a brand new laptop.
A brand new laptop. Not for this, but it's useful.
Just for this would be a really poor return on investment. I don't see us monetizing this for some time.
It would be getting this new laptop fully to then be under a duvet with a £35 Amazon microphone.
Yeah.
Ready to start a podcast together.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm Alasdair.
I'm Sam.
And you join us for a Doctor Who podcast, which... has there been any demand for this? No. But here we are.
I feel like we just sat down one night chatting about Doctor Who, as we tend to do.
Yeah.
And fully were like, wow, our voices have never been heard before. We have only original things to say.
Yes.
And I can't imagine anything more important right now in today's climate than starting a podcast and talking about it to everyone.
Yeah. And who wouldn't want to listen in to our voice notes? Mm-hmm. Which is where you are now.
This is going to be one extended voice note.
We're going to be talking about episode 1, season 1, Rose.
I genuinely think that there's no better place to start. I mean, this, certainly for me, and I'm assuming you, it was the starting point for my relationship with the show.
It defined, I think, a number of things in my life.
Yeah, I genuinely, when I look back at past events, can date it by what Doctor Who episode was coming out then.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get into it, but I worry that a huge amount of my personality now is actually defined by...
Oh, fully?
By Billie Piper's portrayal of Rose.
Oh, yeah, certainly the purple jumper you keep on wearing.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is a true fact. I will sometimes just refer to things Billie Piper wears, even now, as just outfits.
Yeah.
Right. What we going to be doing? Focus us.
I was thinking week by week, we'll go through the episode, starting with, of course, Rose, and then talk about our thoughts on it, where our emotional connection to it comes, and then upon the rewatch, what we might not have noticed.
Yeah.
Go on to a couple of interesting facts, see where the night takes us.
Girl, I love it.
I love it. And starting with Rose, it was aired on the 26th of March, Saturday in 2005 at 7 p.m. on BBC One, the home of Saturday Night Entertainment.
Set the scene for me. Who first introduced you to Doctor Who?
So just before the revival, I think my dad had seen an advert for it, and he grew up watching it in like the 80s.
Oh, right.
And he showed me the 2 Doctor Who movies, the 60s ones with Peter Cushing, and I feel like that was my like gateway to Doctor Who as a concept.
Yeah. Your gateway.
It was the doors were open.
Yeah.
And then the doors just got kicked down when I saw Billie Piper walk on screen.
Oh, hell, me too.
What about you?
Yeah, I think I heard a radio ad in the car. My dad was there. I think he introduced me to it. He definitely got me and my sister watching it. And, I mean, I also had a copy of Rose on DVD. I think they gave it away for free with a newspaper.
I forgot about that.
Did you have
did.
a copy?
The little square paper thing. Oh
yeah.
my God, I completely forgot.
They
did the same with New Earth. I mean, we'll get to that, but...
I had a little dark red disc.
I forgot about that.
If anyone came to my house for like weeks after that...
That was what you were watching.
That's what we were watching.
That was in the house of Gibbs.
We're putting that in the CD-ROM drive.
You've just unlocked a memory there. I completely forgot that happened.
This ages us.
This really does age us. I used to get the free DVDs and newspapers.
Wow.
I remember keeping that as well as having the DVD of it that I bought just because I wanted both.
Yeah.
Can I? Are we vulnerable on the pod?
Be vulnerable.
So before we get into the episode, I remember I used to have this real fear when I was a kid that there'd be like a fire or something in the house and we'd all have to evacuate.
You know, I had that same fear often.
Did you actually?
That was like my worst fear. My parents used to eat dinner in the living room on like, you know, trays.
TV trays, yeah.
Yeah, and I used to just fear that they would like flip the food over and it would just start a fire. I don't think I had a concept as a child of how fires start.
Yeah, because
I thought
food would get cold.
Not just hot things, but you know, warm things can start fires.
Well, did you ever think what would be in your survival kit if you did that? I
used to actively plan for a scenario where I would have to throw my duvet out the window so I could land on it.
Okay, I didn't do that. I had a list of items where I was like, this is what I'm going to throw in a backpack if the fire starts. And I vividly remember the DVD of Rose was one of the things I would throw into my backpack, as if, you know, it was so important I could never get it anywhere else if there was a fire in my house as a kid. Okay, so we've gone off topic, but we're going to bring it back round to our good friend Ross D. Davies, who of course was the showrunner for Doctor Who from 2005-2009, and the writer of this episode, Rose. He wrote it, and it was directed by Keith Bowick. Keith Bowick had previously directed shows like EastEnders, The Bill, Holby City, and went on to do shows like Waterloo Road, New Tricks, and Krypton.
Yes. Waterloo Road was one of the defining...
Oh, it's another one of those shows.
Yes, it's one of them. It's one of them.
I definitely remember it was like my late night show. Like, if I was allowed to stay up late on a weeknight, it would be to watch Rocky Road.
We watched that with my parents. Is that strange?
Really?
I mean, I guess it wasn't inappropriate for that.
I just watched it with my brother. I remember me and my brother watching it together. And I was always like, I'm staying up late to watch
That's sweet. That's bonding. Yeah, me and my sister watched that together too.
Yeah.
So we're segueing into our thoughts on the episode. Now, I didn't prepare any notes.
I feel like we've come at this from like two different ends.
We've come...
I like broke down the episode. I watched it again, made meticulous notes, even though I've seen it a million times.
Your notes are within my view.
Yeah.
And they're hefty.
They're comprehensive.
Girlie's done a few pages of notes. I'm relying on experience.
Prior knowledge.
It's almost worth more.
Yeah, for sure.
This is the way I've approached a lot of things in my life.
I feel like that's good though, because then like you'll be coming at it from like a nostalgia,
yes,
as I will as well, and from a fresh rewatch. I'll tell you this: there's a couple of things I noticed that I was like, "Ooh, that has not aged well."
Yes, I can imagine. This is pre-HD.
Oh, I can tell.
This is television, when it was meant to be seen once. Maybe
this was meant to be seen
DVD.
once, and they were DVD released, and I feel like they then upped it for the DVD, even though it might not look like it.
Or the upscale.
Tiny little upscale.
That's cheeky.
So the episode opens with, of course, Murray Gold's incredible new theme tune. Yes. What did you think when you first saw that theme? Do you remember?
I don't remember my initial reaction to the episode. I don't remember it being on for the first time. That soundtrack, though, I now have it on vinyl.
Oh, you do?
They
the
recently,
orange one.
yeah, they recently released the season 1 and 2 soundtrack
jealous.
on vinyl, and I've got to say, having that play, it's special.
It really
it
is.
evokes some feelings.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely feel like, and I've told you this before, we both live in London now.
Yeah.
And I definitely have come off of the tube listening to Westminster Bridge by Murray Gold, which is the song this episode opens with after the titles.
Yeah.
I have never felt more like a Londoner. I'm imagining that I'm Rose walking through Trafalgar.
I sometimes go into a private session on Spotify so that it won't affect my year in review.
Because it would just be Murray Gold.
Because it would just be Murray Gold. And there are points where I'm the same. I have a little kind of moment where I connect with my inner child through this, and my inner child wanted nothing more than to be Rose in the opening scene.
Me too!
Where she gets off the bus and she goes to her shitty job, and she's so cool.
Do you know what I noticed though? So the outfit she's wearing, this is really weird. The outfit she's wearing at the beginning, the red hoodie.
Yes.
I think it is the most iconic Series 1 Rose outfit.
Uh-huh.
She wears it for like 2 seconds. She wears it up until the Auton, which we'll get to, the Auton interaction, and then never wears it again. I'm like, what a waste of an outfit.
I want to say...
And they'd never let her wear it at work. She's in some posh, like, it's Henrik's, which
I
is
was
like...
going to say,
yeah.
she works for, what, Debenhams?
Yeah, the equivalent of Debenhams.
So what's she doing in a hoodie?
They would never let her in the door. That's literally one of my notes.
They just wouldn't, would they? You know what? I had the same thought. I lied. I got 10 minutes into a rewatch and I got distracted. But, yeah.
They would never let her work in that
just not realistic.
No!
I'm sorry, they have to ground these things.
Do you know what? The most unrealistic thing about
Chibnall
Doctor
wouldn't
Who-
get away with it.
Chibnall would never get away with that. They would see Yaz and that and they'd say, no, not on today.
No, mama.
Oh my god. So she's at the shop. She does her day. Love watching that. This has always eluded me. I don't know if you know anything about it, but the thing with the lottery money, I get it's a plot point to like move the story along.
Yeah.
Is it a syndicate? Like, why is she the one being given it? Who is the electrician? Why is he the one getting the money?
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it?
So a few years ago, Stephen Moffat and Russell T Davies released novelizations of Rose and the Day of the Doctor.
Right.
And the novelization of Rose goes into a weird amount of detail about the lottery money. So much so, it goes into a backstory, I'm serious, about who won the lottery money.
No!
And who was due to, like, take the winnings. And it basically comes up with a whole subplot about Harold. Harold?
Wilson. Wilson's the guy.
Wilson was... He was
the chief electrician.
Wilson was running this whole thing, and he was fiddling with the numbers.
I need to read. I remember them releasing this book. I vividly remember the cover. It looked like the cover of the classic Doctor Who books.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember it happening, but I hadn't read it.
Some sweet old lady there was due to win the money, and she didn't get it.
He did get his comeuppance though, because dead.
Yeah.
Dead
Anyway,
long.
weird amount of detail in the
Weird amount of
novelization
detail.
about that.
So they, you get introduced to Rose, you get introduced to the villains, the Autons. I do think it's a smart choice from Russell to open with the Autons because it's a familiar character to people who have watched the show. It doesn't require much explanation for newcomers to the show. Mm-hmm. It's a good marriage of the two viewers.
It's enough of an everyday threat. Shop window dummies. It's silly enough. It's camp enough.
It's very camp.
It's kind of creepy enough too. It's like, ooh, watch your back,
never
girl.
know.
You never know.
I mean, it's very of the era, of the classic era as well, that like they turn ordinary with the autons, ordinary things and making them scary, which you get to later with the wheelie bin. But it does bring us on to when she came home. I think both of our favourite character of the New Who era.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Jackie Tyler.
Miss Jackie Tyler is not just one of the best characters of the New Who era, she's one of the best characters on television of the 21st century.
I genuinely can't think, and this has been an issue I found with New Who, is that I think with all of Russell T Davies' like companions, you really came to care about the families.
Yes.
But I just think that there has been no family member worth more screen time than Jacqueline Tyler.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, but it's just the quip. When Rose has like just faced death, her shop that she works at has just been blown up. She nearly missed it, and Jackie says, she's on the phone. She's like, "Honestly, it's aged her. Skin like an old Bible. You're walking out. I think I was her daughter."
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what, Jackie? You better work. You better work,
bitch. You know what I'll say as well? Jackie's unemployed.
Jackie is fully unemployed, and she spends the whole time like hustling her daughter afterwards. She's just like on the phone. She's like, "There's a man on the mirror. He's going to sell you an interview." And then the next day, she's giving her no
She's
rest.
unemployed.
She's like, literally, she's just saying how like, "Oh, what are you going to, Rose? There's no rush to get up. You've got no job to go to.
You got no job to go to, darling."
I genuinely am like, Jackie, you better work. Oh my god, the fucking bin. That bin.
The bin scene, I actually would say, is probably one of the pieces of CGI that felt like it aged better.
No, in its defense, it did. It looks okay.
And it's quite creepy, the way that the hands kind of gel with the bin lid.
Yeah, I was watching it on the rewatch, and I think I've come from it. I did a degree in animation, and I work in TV
Oh, you
film.
did a degree?
I did a degree in animation. You can't see this for the viewers at home, but I am flicking my imaginary hair behind my ear.
Okay, qualified.
But I was looking at it, and like you can obviously see where his fingers end, but it was a fairly seamless like stretch into the bin, and I was like, this is aged quite well for like 17-year-old BBC budget CGI. It's not bad, like at all.
And that's a free expert opinion from a degree.
You're welcome.
You're so welcome for that. I agree. I think it was great. I like the way he gets eaten by the bin. Where does he go? When he gets, does he just stay inside?
I guess he just stayed in the bin and like, because you find him later in the episode. But like, was the wheelie bin just wheeling to the not the Eiffel Tower? That's the complete wrong country. To the Tower of London. That is also the wrong thing. To the London Eye. To the London Eye.
To the London Eye.
Probably. I don't know.
Believe so.
Okay, so we leave the restaurant. We go to the TARDIS, and this is the first time we're properly seeing the TARDIS in the episode.
Yeah.
What did you think of Rose's like reaction, the whole scene?
This is, I think, the only time in Doctor Who that anyone has had a plausible reaction to the TARDIS.
Yeah, I can see that.
The only time, and it annoys me that it hasn't happened since. I think crying upon entry is pretty much the only rational reaction, if not vomiting. When people kind of come in and they go wide-eyed, and they go, it's
bigger
beautiful.
on the inside.
It's bigger on the inside. That's...
Martha's reaction, I think, is
I'd
the worst.
assume I was experiencing psychosis and have a complete meltdown. Mm-hmm. It would collapse your brain.
It's when Martha comes in, she's like, it's bigger on the inside! And you're
people
like...
act so chill out about it. Mm-hmm. I don't like that.
No, I don't either. I think that Clara, of her many reactions she got, same thing. It was all very like, and I think, do you know what a big part of it is? I think not the majority necessarily, but a lot of the audience were experiencing it for the first time as well. So they really, like for the other ones, it's like, okay, you guys as the viewer already know what it's like, so we'll just skip past this. Whereas this was all of our reaction.
First time.
So I feel like that really made sense.
I think like coming back out of it, doing a few laps of it, touching the edges, that's the right reaction to me.
Okay, I'm actually going to jump in with a quick fun fact here. I'll come to fun facts at the end, but like I just think it's important here. When Rose, speaking Murray Gold, comes into the TARDIS, like she comes in, she does the lap around, she goes back in.
Yes.
It's Doomsday playing when she comes in.
Yes.
Did you know that?
Foreshadowing, girl.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Her fate is sealed.
Like, the second she steps foot inside the TARDIS, her fate is sealed. And I obviously don't think that they will have had the storyline for Doomsday, like, laid out when they were writing that or anything, but no. I just think, like, visually, for the fact that it came out as it did, such, like, poetic justice.
Very nice.
Really, really nice. Really,
Murray
really
Gold
nice.
has such a big brain.
Really, like, him and Russell together, I really hope that Murray comes back for the new series.
I'd like him back. I think people have said that his music is a bit too bombastic, it's a bit too...
incorrect.
Big. People call it obnoxious.
I think Doctor Who's obnoxious.
And they say, I don't like being told how to feel. I
love it.
I think it's gorgeous. I've always loved it.
All of TV and film is telling you how to feel. Whether or not it's quiet or soft or big or bombastic, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
the whole point.
God, Russell's good, isn't he?
Russell is good,
He's
isn't
bloody
he? Oh,
good.
he's bloody
This
good.
is the thing. For me, I really have no doubt in my mind about the quality of the upcoming seasons, because
sure.
I think he's such a good storyteller who really understands people and knows how to write kind of convincing motives.
For sure.
Right down to the little details of their conversations. That's what I'm really looking forward to. And I think also he's really funny. He's a good comedy writer.
Very funny.
A lot of Doctor Who in season 1 is really funny.
But it really does walk the line of being very serious at the same time. Like, there's a lot of times where they'll mirror even lines. And there's a line, again, I keep jumping to other episodes, but where the Doctor says, like, something like, humans, all you do is eat chips, go to bed, watch telly. And it's quite funny in that scene. And then in the parting of the ways, when she is saying to Jackie, all we do is eat chips, watch TV, go to bed. Is that all there is? It's the real mirroring those two things.
Oh, yeah.
Anti-plastic. That's a bit of a cheap shot, isn't it?
Anti-plastic, I feel like it's not worse than anything else.
I googled it. I was like, does anti-plastic exist? No, it does not.
Why would you think that existed?
Because it was in Doctor
Darling, no. What, as a blue liquid?
well,
keep
it
in
doesn't. Okay.
That doesn't work, though. He doesn't use that. Does
do,
he?
They do in the end. Oh, you didn't rewatch the episode.
Oh, girl, I didn't.
So
I remembered Rose kicking.
the Auton.
Yes, and I for some reason in my head that was the resolution. I forgot why that was the
You're
resolution.
on the right line, because they go to see the nesting consciousness, which I do think it's not the best animation in the world.
The
with
kick
today's
wasn't
eye.
the end. That wasn't
It's
how they
near
saved the
end.
day.
No, it is. It is. Rose does the big swing in the kick, kicks the Auton holding the antiplastic into the nestine. The Auton drops it. He goes in. Then the antiplastic falls in. That's how they save the day.
We have another formative memory at this point. I think when Rose says something here about not having any GCSEs, but she did have a gymnastics award.
Yeah.
And she kind of slashes a chain with an axe or something, and then she kind of swings on it and she kicks this monster into the goo or whatever the fuck. Kind of hot.
It is kind of hot. It's very BDE, very big dick energy from Rose, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was again one of these things I think I've probably spent the rest of my life trying to be, really.
Emulating that energy.
I've been waiting for my
gymnastics moment.
Swing on a chain moment since then.
Well, I feel a bit sorry for Clive, bless him, because like Rose gets that real big moment. And of course, she's the companion for the series, and she gets that big moment of like importance. And Clive, bless him, he's just on a little shopping trip. The Autumn comes and just shoots him, and he's dead.
Oh, he dies.
He dies.
Yeah. What do you think the bullets are made of? Plastic.
I mean, I'm guessing plastic.
How many bullets can they shoot?
I think that
hollow.
they're just like sucking bits of plastic from inside of them and making them into bullets. So as much as the plastic they have in the mannequin, I'd guess.
Oh, so quite a few.
Quite a few, I guess. Yeah, they save the day.
Yeah.
All well and good. And then when she leaves Mickey, I just felt this is one bit of Russell dialogue I didn't really get.
Yeah.
She's like, thanks. And he goes, for what? And she's like, exactly.
Exactly.
But she says like, exactly. And I guess it's like, thanks for nothing. But I'm like, that's so mean.
Exactly. This is a criticism I hear a lot about our Rose, is that she's just not very nice.
I love her to pieces. I'm a huge Rose stan. I think she is my favourite companion, but she is a bit of a
She's
dick.
a bitch. She's a bit of a bitch. She's not nice to her mum. She's not
nice
nice to her boyfriend.
She also won't break up with him. Just break up with him.
Break up with him, girl. Let him go.
Break up
She
with
can't
your boyfriend.
commit.
No. But I can't. I love her.
I love her. Listen, I'm not going to contradict you. I'm a Rose apologist until the very end.
Oh, for sure. I will be here to back up her behaviour till the day the world stops winning.
Forever. And I think she is. I think she's one of the most iconic companions. I think maybe Sarah Jane is perhaps the only one who rivals that.
I think of all the companions that have ever been on the show, old and new, I think that the ones that come to mind for me when I think of a Doctor Who companion are Sarah Jane Smith, Rose Tyler, and I think for some people, Amy Pond.
Really?
Yeah, maybe
I would have said Donna maybe as that last spot, but I
don't
think...
know. I don't
Okay.
know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Donna, and in a lot of ways, I like her more than Amy. But I think that Amy Pond, I think she's very much. I think this because I think also coming from our perspective, I think a whole different generation of people watch Doctor Who joining from Matt Smith's era, and I think that like Amy's their Sarah Jane.
Yeah,
I find so.
that's fair.
Yeah. Alasdair, would you like some fun facts about this episode?
I'd love some.
Here are some fun facts about the episode Autumn. Now, the original title, the working title for this episode was Rose Meets the Doctor and the Journey Begins.
That's shit.
That's a really long
That
title.
sucks.
And in the edits, it then cut down to Rose Meets the Doctor.
Awful.
And then ended up being Rose, which I think we can all agree
I'm
is...
really grateful they trimmed that.
Exactly, because Rose is so concise.
It sounds like a
everything you
children's
know.
book.
Exactly. It just really didn't need to be with that. So one thing that I think is really interesting is the marketing campaign that they did for this, specifically this episode, but mainly for just the show as a whole. It had individual, so they updated the Doctor Who website for it. They then made new websites, like the one like Looking for the
Yes.
Doctor unit website.
Yeah.
They released online teasers, said teasers for BBC, but then they had exclusive like online MP4s.
Yes.
And this was all before social media. This was 2005.
Yes.
Before Facebook, before any of that.
I have a memory, I don't know if this was season 1 or later, of, do you remember TARDISodes?
That was series 2.
Was it?
Yeah, it was
There
series 2.
used to be a number you could text and you could get sent a video
TARDISode.
clip from the next... Oh, no, not from the
No,
next
it was an
episode.
original. It was original. It was like a prelude.
An original prelude sent in
Yeah.
like actual like less than 240p.
Yeah.
Like it had like the most compressed sound. And what's funny now is if you look for those clips, they only exist in that quality.
I've
no
watched as an adult compilations of them on YouTube, and they are in such terrible quality
because they are meant for Sony Ericsson screens. They
Oh,
are not. They are
completely.
not meant to be seen in HD. And so, in a way, I think if you were going to observe them in their truest form, you would see it on an old brick phone.
Yeah, fully. What's some other things I had? A second season, the Christmas special, they were greenlit just purely based on the ratings for this episode alone, which I didn't think there was much doubt would happen. And also, something that when I was looking into this episode about the Autons, I didn't know this. There were 3, I think they're fan-made, but they like got produced for video movies about the Autons from the 90s,
Oh,
which I had no idea existed. It's Auton, Auton 2 Sentinel, and Auton 3 Awakening.
oh God!
And they have like, I've watched some clips of them. They have like fairly like decent CGI at points. Like
Well,
it's got money behind
It's
it.
all on its own kind of property.
I guess, I don't know. I think it was something to do with that. Like one of the writers for the Auton episodes from the 70s had like signed something to say they could use it. Like
You
it was
know
some
what?
weird right.
If you ever want to go back and see something really scary, I mean, Halloween coming right around the corner, girls.
Yeah.
If you watch some of the classic Auton episodes, and if you remember as well, because back in the day they couldn't film, you'd film things indoors on kind of
Soundstage.
on videotape on a soundstage, and when you went outside, you had to film things on film, and so they look good because film has aged well.
Yeah.
And if you watch any of those old film clips of Autons
Going down the street.
mowing people down, they are horrifying.
Have you seen the big heads with the daffodils?
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's horrible.
It's horrible.
I'm going to recommend everyone does a little bit of homework off the back of this, and they go back and they find themselves some classic 70s clips.
Oh,
maybe.
fully like John Pertwee, Spearhead in Space.
Horrifying.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrifying.
It's terrifying. I think that's all we've got for this episode.
That's what we've got time for, guys and girls. I think it's time to tuck yourselves up in bed and off you go.
But yeah, no, get ready for next week, though, when we'll be rewatching Series 1, Episode 2, The End of the World.
End of the world.
Dramatic outro here.
Ooh.
Right, thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.